start here. Obviously, some key guys were missing, and before we get into questions or anything about that, just let you guys know that was a coach's decision where we have incredibly high standards and expectations in our program that everyone knows very, very clearly. Each guy that was not dressed this evening, all three separate, completely different situations that are all unique for one another, and each individual knows they've been talked about and it's been handled in-house internally with all of it. A big piece obviously is to go win these football games, but a bigger piece for us and for the championship culture that we're establishing is to grow great human beings off of it and everything. So, those guys know what it is. The team knows what it is, embraced it. Team responded, obviously played incredibly hard tonight. Got to be much better in certain situations, critical areas where we can continue to improve off of all of it, but thought we fought really, really hard. It's great to see you guys step up, and we're a really good team, and we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to improve, and we're going to continue to take strides as we move forward here, and looking forward to the next opportunity, the next test, and the opportunity to get better tomorrow as we review this tape and to continue to build and to continue to grow and pour into these guys that are in the locker room and create the next great opportunity here for us.
Sean, what's the most frustrating thing with a loss like that when you kind of have the game possibly there, but it doesn't work you're there?
The missed opportunity and the joy for these kids to have a lifetime memory is the most frustrating piece about it, right? Where I got to be better on that third down call so that we don't put our quarterback in that situation, want to have that call back. But the most frustrating piece is that you go from creating an unbelievable moment of joy that these guys will be able to look back on, right? And unfortunately, you come up short, right? So need to be better. I need to lead better so that we can create those moments that are right there and be able to seize and to capitalize on those moments.
Talk about the third quarter. It could have been your best quarter of the year. You guys had 129 yards of offense. You held them to 21. You sort of took momentum of the game. Talk a little bit about what happened at halftime and what led to that.
Yeah, again, we came in, the staff did a really nice job, obviously, with what we were seeing in the first half and communicating. The kids gave great feedback as well and thought we came out and started fast by doing basic things at a really high level, right? Like one of the things that we've been talking a ton about now since we've kind of understood what we're doing conceptually as we move through the year at a 30,000-foot level, right, is really drilling down into the details and doing the simple things better and at a higher level off of it, right? So I thought we did that in the third quarter in the majority of the game. And then we got to finish, and we got to carry that over and do that in the fourth quarter as well.
You guys were very aggressive with your play calling tonight with the fake punt, trick play TD. What made you guys so aggressive tonight?
Yeah, again, getting to know the players that we have, right, and wanted to make sure that these kids knew, obviously, the belief that we have in them, right, and I think one of the ways that you can do that is as a play caller, right, you do some things to put guys in advantageous situations, and through your actions, not just your words, you tell them that you believe, right, that we're going to call it to win it, and we're going to do that each and every single week.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about what changes in the game plan you had to make with some of your key starters?
Not a bunch, right? We got guys that obviously stepped up in a big time way, and guys that have done it. Nate Bennett has done it all year round, right? Makai, as you guys know, from his production that he's had here on the Mesa prior to our arrival, and what he did during spring ball and moving through. Unfortunately, he had a little injury that kind of put him, so to speak, behind the curve a little bit, right, as we were moving through camp and everything. But when you have depth at those positions and you have a guy like Mikey Harrison, that again has been playing a bunch and can fill in and step up. And really, when you have those types of guys, you can do a lot, right, to where you don't have to deviate from who you are. And we're looking forward to continuing to develop all the guys that are within the program, right, and the talent that we know that we're going to bring in, so that week in and week out we can be who we are and operate at a high level consistently.
You mentioned those three guys, I think maybe contrast to that is Vance goes in for 2 series. Danny comes in, leads a touchdown drive, and Vance the first pass of silence when celebrated with his teammates. Just talk about that and that being the standard.
Yeah, right, like we believe that we're better together, right? Like I kind of have an obsession with wolves. They're my spirit animal a little bit, right? And there's that old mantra, right, that the strength of the pack is the wolf and the strength of the wolf is the pack, right? And so being able to lean on one another, right, having that connection, having that bond, like any good unit, any good team, any good, family, right? The brotherhood and the bond that's in there, regardless of who's making the plays and who's getting the glory, we can all celebrate that together, right? And so that's the standard, and that's the culture that we're going to have, and we're going to continue to build. And again, by pouring into others, it's really funny how when you have that positive energy and you're supportive of others, how things kind of find their way back to you as well, you know. And so again, just instilling that in our guys and pointing that out each and every time, you know, is a big deal. And again, we've talked all the way through it, even as heated as that one position battle has been from the very beginning, and how much has been talked about it, right? Like, those guys are each other's biggest cheerleaders. And you see that, you know, through their actions, through their camaraderie, and regardless of who has the ball in their hands and who's making the decisions, they're there lifting each other up, which is really cool to see.
Back and forth, and like I said, as a team, how are you guys able to stay composed and just go one play at a time, not get too high off of the big plays and too low on the offense?
Because that's our process, right? Like, it doesn't matter what happened, we got to get better. And we constantly talk about, so what, now what, right? Like all these coaches' buzzwords and phrases that you guys hear, it's what our kids actually believe, right? And so, again, we obsess about time, and the only thing that we can control, whether it be the past, the present, or the future, is the present, right? And so being present and playing each play for what it is, its own beautiful entity, you know, it ended up being 67 defensive snaps tonight and 71 offensive snaps tonight, right? Like, each one of those individual moments plus the kicking game is its own story, and you better be present in that moment. You better have great attention to detail. You better have a sense of urgency to do your job, not only for yourself and have pride in that performance, but know how your individual piece aligns with and connected to all the other guys that are on the field and how meaningful that is. And so you play the play. When that play is done, you take confidence from the wins. If you ended up not getting the win that you thought that you were going to get, you learn from it and you move on and you play the next play, because that's the only thing that I can control, right? The only thing that our guys in the locker room can control. And so by having that single-minded focus, it's really fun when you work that process consistently day in and day out. Right, then you look up and you look at the scoreboard, and if you do it right consistently enough, the majority of the times, it's funny how the scoreboard works out, and it's on the right side, you know, for us.
You talked about late in the fourth quarter when you kick the ball away. Is it just that broke down distance is too much to try?
Yeah, correct, right? Like, you know, we want to take a shot there on third down, try and get half back, but then again, playing, you know, with all three timeouts at our disposal, you have the 2-minute timeout as well to be able to flip the field, lean on your defense that's been playing very, very well, right? And be able to get a stop and get the ball back in that regard, especially since a field goal would have sent us to overtime, right? So being able to play the field position game there, you know, and believing in the defense and having all the timeouts at our disposal, that led to the decision to kick it plus the D&D.
It seemed like there was a number of guys that got beaten up. Did the field conditions have anything to do with it?
I don't think so. No, it was a physical game between two physical teams, and that's going to happen.
So, I mean, it did seem like there was people losing their feet, their footing, it seemed like there was a lot of sand going on. I mean, is there a way that this is your home field that they can, like, prepare you for that, or did they prepare you for that? And maybe was it not as bad as perhaps it looked from the distance?
Yeah, I don't think it was as bad as it looks from the distance, right? I know our field crew does a great job here, and you know, they'll take care of it, and they want to prepare an elite surface for us, and I know they're working very diligently to do that.
And when those guys got injured, obviously you come out and it could be severe. But Jeff Silver, he also comes out with you. What does he mean to a player in that moment with everything that they've done, you know, in those watching?
I mean, Coach Sobel and his staff spend the most time with our guys, right? From the minute that they get on campus and, you know, the minute we've been building this thing from the start of winter conditioning, Coach Sobel and his staff have spent the most time with our guys, right? So they're, again, that time on task leads to a very, very strong bond, right? The tests and the challenges that we do to build our guys up in the weight room and to form our culture and to create those connections. Obviously, Coach Sobel's at the head of that. And so, you know, he's very, very close with all of these guys. And so he's there for them to, you know, love and support them the same way that, you know, all great guardians would do, right? I mean, we're here looking after these guys' careers, their experiences, and we promise their families that we're going to take care of them at the highest regard. And so that's what we're going to do, and we're going to make sure that we're all doing that, and everyone in the program is aligned to do that, to make sure that we're pouring into these young men to the best of our ability.
Coach, you talk about the fake punt real quick. Was that something you planned on that was going to happen during the game, or was it situational, or?
Everything that happens in the game we plan on, right? We practice it, we rep it, and we have confidence in it because of that work that we've done. So we knew that there was an opportunity for it. We got a good look, and the kids executed and did a great job.
Coach, on the trick play, what goes into determining which player gets the catch and plays the play?
A lot of that stuff that, you know, would be considered a trick play, again, we've repped countless times. So for us, it's It's another play. It's another option. We want to be able to use every blade of grass. We want to use every single skill set that we have. And, if we're going to put the ball in your hand, we're going to ask you to throw it. You better be able to throw it, right? So early on when we got here, normally guys who can catch the ball really well, again, I'm not very smart, but they go out and they play catch a lot, right? So they throw it back and forth, and you figure out, like, okay, this guy can actually throw. This guy's left-handed. This guy's right-handed, and then set it up, properly in the right way. And then, again, you trust the kids to go execute it, even though it's not an ideal look. Players go make plays on game day, and those two, the whole unit did a great job. Mikey did a great job securing it. Coop did an unbelievable job handling the exchange. There was a little bit of seepage inside. He's able to flip it off, give a little shoulder so that we can get the edge. Jordan did a nice job pressing it. Mackay does a great job collapsing coverage, so it ends up being a one-on-one throw, and then Jordan drops dime on it, right? Touchdown, good guys.
How impressed are you that Jordan, in making one throw, he can put a ball in?
Again, like, when you see it repped, like in practice, the number of times that I have, you're not surprised when then it happens in the game. Because, again, like, one of the things that we say a bunch within our building is practice repetition is game reality. And so I've seen Jordan make that throw countless times. He made it last Thursday during the bye week against our defense, right? And everyone's oohing and ahhing. It's like, well, we've repped that post-practice, so you know it and you see it, right? Now, the first time I saw Jordan throw a ball like that, I'm like, oh, okay, you can do that. All right, nice. Now you get to start building out some things because you know that there's a skill set there with an individual who's going to be on the field, whose garden has grown, and you can trust him to do that sort of stuff, right? But, for it to happen, obviously it's a surprise and it's impressive because you guys don't get to see it each day. But, again, the things that we do, we've repped at nauseum to a point to where we know that when we call it, right, that the majority of the times we're going to get it right. It ain't all perfect. And then when a great play happens like that, like, man, again, it's a great moment for the kids, and it's a heck of a lot of fun to get to do what we do.
And how much extra boost does that give the team rather than like a 2-yard touchdown?
Yeah, I think anytime you can have an explosive, anytime it's got a little bit of sauce on it, I think the guys get excited about that.
Coach Danny got hurt late in the first quarter, comes back right at halftime on that last possession. What can you say about his performance today, battling through?
Yeah, I think we've learned a lot about Danny through these first 7 games, and I don't think anyone can ever question his toughness and his resolve and his willingness to compete and step in the arena, right? So, again, like, through the time on task, going through the real contact that we felt and that he has felt, when he says he's good to go and the medical staff says he's good to go, like, he's good to go, and he's going to go operate to the best of his ability.
There were a lot of highs and lows in that second half. The defense looked dominant in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, all of a sudden, there were these fast scores. Did they do anything different offensively that caused that, or what did you see?
Their quarterback's a really good player, right? And there's a couple times there where we knew we were going to go into it that, he's going to make his plays, right? Like, that's just the nature of playing really good people. And for the majority of the game, we bottled him up, and unfortunately, he made some key plays without looking at the tape and without really deeply studying it, right? Like, they know there's a ton of things that schematically changed, but again, it came down to their quarterback, who's an exceptional player, making some exceptional plays, all right? And so again, we got to respond, and we got to respond quicker, right? To be able to be on the right side of those and limit those plays so that 1 doesn't become 2, 2 becomes 3, and it snowballs, right? That response and how we refocus to play the next play can be better in those instances.
More questions? The 3 guys who were out today will be back for the next one.
Yes.
Could you have a little bit of time with you and just, obviously clubs and how it plays?
Yeah, again, his leadership, he's the quarterback of our defense. He does an unbelievable job communicating, leading, driving, making sure that we're set and we're ready to play. And then, again, his relentlessness and his pursuit and his effort that he plays with gives him a chance to fill the stat sheet each and every single week.
You hinted that you wish you could have a play call on 3rd down with Danny throws the interception. And a little bit Washington State kind of aided into that throw. I guess, what were you thinking beforehand on hindsight, and why was it 3rd and 10 putting in the hands of freshman quarterback?
Yeah, again, he's a great decision maker, right? And so operating within the confines of our offense, trusting him to make a good decision, right? Hindsight being 2020, we're in field goal range there, right? Be able to, make a better decision, run the ball, kick the ball there, make it extend the lead, and not make it that sort of 50-50 decision, right? They did a nice job with the simulated pressure, dropping the backer out. He dropped into the replacement zone, made a play on it. And again, I can limit all those factors and make life a heck of a lot simpler with a different call.
Anything else?
Yeah, there are no moral victories. You play to win the game, but what is the takeaway from the performance against this team that was 6-1 and now 7-1?
That we're a really good team. We're going to continue to work our process better and continue to put ourselves in positions to create great memories.